up, guys? I am Krystle Chats, and we are in the comedy pop-up, and this is the
drum roll.
Healthy Gossip. And today I am accompanied by my co-host, officially,
promoted.
Alex Conn. What's up? And today, also sitting next to me is the gorgeous, talented actress, comedian, my best friend, episode 20, Hannah Conn meets Alex Conn.
Woo!
How are you doing?
Do you tell everybody that they're your best friend? Because I feel like...
I have like a couple of, I have my Texas best friend who was my best friend before you came into my life. And then...
How many best friends are you allowed to have?
Depends on the person.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always thought it was just one.
Well, not everyone's as evil as you and just cuts people off out of their life. Like, Hannah's like, I don't know anybody from elementary school, like anybody. And I'm like, whoa.
I actually don't, but it's not because of my evilness. The evilness came later. It's because we moved around so much.
Right. So, but don't you think if you still had a friend from elementary school, like you could...
I'd say that was my best friend.
Right, yeah.
Okay, I could see how that works.
I don't think so, no, because I feel like those are the friends that you've grown the furthest away from. I look at my best friends as the people I actually like right now. Because if I hung out with the people I went to elementary school with, I'd be like, man, what the you turned into a mess.
Well, touche, because I have a friend like from, I guess it was 7th, 8th grade, who was my best friend in 7th and 8th grade, but... I don't talk to her. I don't even have her phone number anymore, but I still have her information on social media and we follow each other. But I would never like call her to cry about something, So you're right. You can definitely lose that title. But then I also have a friend who from Texas that I don't talk to on a regular basis, but will always be one of my best friends. So
I feel like everyone has one of those, right? Like,
right.
Your person that like when you talk to them, it's like nothing happened.
And especially if you've gone through so much with one person that it's like it's their family.
It's also it's hard to like re-explain everything in your life to new people. So it's like you can call up that old friend and be like, God, do you remember XYZ? Yeah, she messaged me the other day, and they know the whole story.
Exactly.
You don't have to tell your new friends like, you don't have to tell the 2-hour story. You just call your old friend.
Yeah, I was talking to a coworker about this, and there's something important about people that have been witnesses in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You might not be the closest to them, but they were there.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also being friends with those people just because
they know
sometimes
too
you
much.
got to call them, but don't piss them off either.
So the final answer is yes. You can have more than one.
Okay.
So congratulations on your recent work that you've done.
Oh, thank
Do you want to talk about that right quick and tell everyone?
Yeah. I just wrapped on filming Stargirl, which is a new DC Universe show. So it'll be on DC's streaming service. Should be next year. I don't know when exactly. And so it was a recurring role. So 9 episodes later.
Did you have a superpower? That's all I'm going to ask.
I cannot tell you or I will have to kill you.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about that.
I know. From the information I've collected, it seems like it's pretty sick.
If you think you can kill me, you're probably slinging fire or something.
So that'll be next year. And then I just realized next week, do you guys know Creepshow? Were you aware of Creepshow at all?
Well, I know because of you.
Because of me. I didn't know about it. Was a show in the 80s. It was kind of like a Twilight Zone meets Nightmare on Elm Street, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they're rebooting it. And it airs next week, I want to say the 26th. So I'll be in the 3rd episode of that. So watch that.
Is it Twilight Zone-y that like every episode has a different cast kind of
thing?
Okay, like Black Mirror-y kind of. Sweet.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've been up to.
Yay. And so to answer your question, before we started rolling, Hannah and I have been friends for 10 years.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
pre-comedy?
Technically...
Yes.
Yeah, acting. Well, for me, no, I did comedy in Texas, but but I didn't do it when I first moved here. So,
but even before, like, it's been maybe that long now, but even when we first became friends, people used to think that we knew each other they either thought we were like lesbian lovers or that we were childhood friends.
Right.
Those are like the two things.
Yeah.
Or both.
Or both.
Exactly.
Sometimes your oldest friend
Is your lesbian
first
lover?
lesbian lover. Yeah. That's what I say.
Do you have a lesbian lover?
I have a first lesbian lover, yes. Her name is Meredith. She's my first lesbian lover. Great name for a lesbian,
that's
too.
a solid name for a lesbian lover.
Wait, so is Meredith really a lesbian that you slept with?
No, I didn't really sleep with her. She's like my older sister, though, but she's like my first friend. I would say she's my lesbian friend, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We
She's
love
not a lesbian, but
Shout out. Wait, what?
I mean, she's straight, but
But he thinks of her as his lesbian.
But like, she's the first friend I've ever had that, like, or the first female friend. You know when you have a friend of the opposite sex and fucking them is not even an option? She's that friend where it's like,
Or don't you hate it when you have that friend, but that whole idea and concept is just one-sided?
well, then that's not that friend.
Right.
Well, we have a
That's
friend.
your perception of that.
We have a friend who we would never think of that, but he would definitely think of
Yeah.
that with us.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
then that's not that friend.
Right.
Like, she could also tell, like, I could tell someone, oh, no, that she's like my sister, and I mean it. And she could tell her significant other, oh, he's like my brother, and she
Oh, yeah.
means it.
Shout out. Nick Salazar in Texas is my friend who like that.
Your first lesbian friend.
Yeah.
What's up, Nick Salazar?
What's up, Nick Salazar? And I can say that for sure because I don't remember. The rule is it's not supposed to say names, but he's all love and 100% has never done anything weird. And he's always like called me out like for
That's a good friend.
when doing hood rat stuff.
When I was talking about just that person you contact who has all the old information that you don't have to, that for me, that person's Meredith. I can hit her up and be like, hey, remember this girl? And she'll be like, that crazy bitch?
That's
Yeah.
good to have. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, we're that for each other now.
That's
LA.
nice. Yeah.
We met in acting class, and I remember
Shout out to Aaron Spicer.
Aaron Spicer.
And we're gonna
in the
go
studio.
see J-Lo's movie tonight.
That's right. Because Aaron was J-Lo's coach for a
Acting
while.
coach, several people's. Oh yeah, and I didn't say that today is the 17th, and this will air on September the 23rd. So yeah,
So I remember being in acting class, and Krystle was always sitting behind me, and she would just, which I've grown to love, but she has the most obnoxious laugh. And she would sit.
I still do.
She still does. And she would sit in the back of class and laugh. And I was like, oh my God, this girl again. And then we all, after class, went to some. Where did we? It was that place in Culver City, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I
I forgot what
the
it's
name.
called too.
We all went to hang out. And
We need to think of it though.
It'll come to
Isn't
me.
it still there?
Yeah. And she comes up to me and she's like, I just want to let you know that I love you and we're going to be friends. And I was like, all right, this psycho.
But I called it.
But she was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she forced it on you.
She forced herself on me.
Do you think you would have avoided her if she didn't do that?
I wouldn't have approached her like that, but I like that she did that. She's like the man.
Yeah.
And I like that.
She catcalls.
I like, yeah.
Yeah. We actually came to that revelation on this podcast, actually, that because I am like the man, but I want to be with an alpha male is why I might end up alone forever.
Yeah.
Just because.
Who'd you come to that conclusion with? I don't think I was here for that.
You don't
one.
remember that? I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's, it might have been Paul. Yeah, I think it was the Paul and Pete Saval episode.
Pete Suval.
Yeah, basically because I'm alpha for a female in many regards, but then when it comes to men, I want an alpha. But,
yeah, I get
so.
that. That's one of the reasons that Krystle and I get along is I think we've both been called like men with vaginas. She is even more so. Like when I'm called that,
I brought that out of her. Even
She
though
may
it
have,
had already been there, but I was just like, hey, you know, there's a side of you.
That. I'll
Yeah.
give you that. But yeah, I'll let him know if you think I'm a guy. You got to meet this one.
Yeah. And it's really sad though because having had dated like younger people recently, you forget how much life experience like that you have compared to other people. Like even that's what her and I have always talked about is that because like she was I can say corporate right?
world.
Yeah, just
Yes.
corporate for a little bit, and I was always just kind of like I've always been a waitress or a bud tender, you know, and then so we kind of like met in the middle because she was in a long-term thing, and then I was like kind of always like single, and then so we met in the middle, like in our life, even though
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's really true.
our life experience was different. We just
There's
still
also
had a common ground.
we're both Sagittarians. That's the way to say it. Sagittarians, Sagittariuses,
Sagittarii.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I actually really think that means something.
Yeah, we are those LA girls, and we don't care if you don't care about horoscope or zodiac.
I'm sorry. It's
real.
Actually real. Like I don't look up my horoscope all the time.
What are you, Alex?
A Capricorn.
Okay.
Oh, I get along really well with Capricorn.
Yeah.
I believe in the characteristics. Like, I'm not necessarily going to look up my horoscope on a daily basis, but I've met enough people of the same sign to be like, yeah, I can
vibe with it.
Yeah, I can recognize you're crazy. So
are Capricorns crazy?
No, these ones are. Capricorns are really logical.
These ones, like, you're not one of I.
We are
one of us.
One of I.
One of I. One of me.
Capricorns are really level-headed and logical, from what I've found, and I really like that. I like the logic. Are you logical? You're a goat.
I've found that. I've found that a lot of my ideas are founded in logic.
In logic?
No, I'm being obnoxious, but yeah, no, I know nothing about any of the signs. Who are the crazy ones I have to watch out for? Sagittarians.
The fire signs are generally crazy.
What are those?
Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries.
Are Scorpios crazy?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I've heard that one before.
Jesus. That one came out of her stomach.
There's a story.
Oh, yeah. Stay away from them scorpions.
Stay away.
They'll sting you. They'll get you real good in the back. No,
but it'll be fun.
No. Actually, they're really big on
confrontation.
Like, no, they'll hold grudges. Like, they're very unforgiving, and they're relentless and ruthless and just hard people. Like, and that's honestly what normally when I meet a Scorpio and they're like, I'm a Scorpio, I'm like, okay, makes sense. Mm-hmm. So, and what's interesting about meeting like halfway on our like life experiences, we're both like kind of in this cool place where like our dating lives are similar because we're both just kind of like dating, and so we wanted, and then we have girlfriends too that are in the same boat for once in our lives, and we want to just like talk about little pet peeves that we have and like the different situations that we've heard of for dating. My first question is what is your opinion on dating artists?
I have friends that hate it, that will say like, oh, I never want to date an actor. I like it to an extent. I mean, the things I like about it is I like people that are creative and can understand the roller coaster that we go through.
We've talked about that before. I like that, yeah.
It's a serious roller coaster. And if you're just someone who's only worked in the corporate world and your mind very much works like 1 + 2 is 3, that's not the way it works in the artistic world. It just doesn't. So I like artists because they can understand the struggle. I don't like them being broke. I mean, that's just not fun.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
Yeah. Well, I have a girlfriend who is actually dating a guy who seems to be kind of well off.
Okay.
Right? But he's being cheap. And then I
hate that.
That's how you stay well off.
No.
You gotta save that.
I have opinion. I hate that. Because it's like, I don't care if you work at McDonald's or if you're a millionaire. I'm still old school enough to say that if you're going to ask a girl out, take her out, whether it's for a Happy Meal or whether it's at Mastro's. Like, whatever your level is, stay at your level, bro, but still be a gentleman. Am I wrong?
No.
Alex, am I wrong?
I like that.
Yeah.
I dig that.
So, and if you're not going to do that, then I think you're cheap.
I come from like very old-fashioned people, so I always feel the same way, which is like, and it's weird because when you're in relationships that aren't as old-fashioned and then the girl pulls out the card and you're like, what the fuck is it? And then you're like,
card?
Well, the credit card, the debit card, the old card.
Split.
Yeah, or not even to split, sometimes to cover. I mean, like, and it's weird because like, I've dated girls who are like, can I just get this one? Like, just let me get this one. And that was when I was corporate and I had money and I'd be like, no, let me.
But is it on the first date?
Never on a first date. You gotta handle business. But I also think first dates are overblown too, and that like first date should be Chipotle. It shouldn't be master. Like, sure. I don't like you yet. I'm not gonna spend money on
I like the whole new unwritten rule about just grab coffee.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, grab a cup of coffee.
That's it.
You know,
Do you know how insane someone is once they're hopped up on caffeine? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, she's...
And it could
herbal
be
tea is fine.
20, 30 minutes tops. Like, you don't need to spend hours because I might not like you.
Yeah.
You might not like me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and no, none of this like want to grab a drink bullshit, please, because like I hate that. Like my biggest pet peeve, I would rather you say let's get a coffee than get a drink.
Yeah. Why is that your pet peeve?
Because it's just so like, why can't we just go get tapas? Like, why does it have to be alcohol? Because it just screams like, let's get loose and see where this goes. And it's like, okay, first of all, if the girl's in shape, chances are she might not even be able to handle more than a couple of drinks.
Right.
Are you picking me up? And if not, then I have to Uber to go meet you because we're drinking. Where are we drinking? I don't know you. Am I going to feel safe with you? It's just this.
I had a guy take me to frozen yogurt. I thought that was cute.
That's a good one. I like tapas because it's small plates. So like here, you want to talk, alcohol seems like you're only trying to get laid. But if you have a heavy meal, you're probably not going to get laid. So tapas is one of those where it's like, well, it's like... It's putting in the work, but it's still leaving some room for like maybe, you know.
So, some oopsie sex?
Yeah. There you go. Oopsie. Does that mean it's a mistake?
Oopsie sex. Well, it's like, you know, because most girls will say, like, if they slept with the guy too fast, like, oh, I slept with him too fast. Now he's not going to like me. You know,
I don't know that that's true. Is that true, Alex?
I don't think that's
from a male perspective.
This is what I think. I think if a guy just wants to sleep with you, he can put up with pretending to care about you for a certain amount of time. Every guy's probably different, and so like, yeah, sure, you might not put out to the 4th date. That doesn't mean there's going to be a 5th date. You might not put out to the 7th date. That doesn't mean there's going to be an 8th date. Honestly, I kind of look at it like if you have an oopsie and you do get a text the next day, you're probably like if you put out on the 1st or 2nd date and there is a 3rd or 4th date. You're probably, or 2nd or 3rd, I should say, then you're probably in a better boat with that person than if you make someone wait 7 dates or whatever your number is, you know, and then you're like, that doesn't, you know, I just feel like.
Well, I've had the experience of where I was dating a guy and didn't put out fast enough. And we got in a kind of a serious relationship. And then when we finally hooked up, it
wasn't
was
there.
bad.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like I was miserable for a long time just because other than the fact that was not there, he was a perfect guy. Like, I won't say he's perfect, but he was a really cool guy to be with. Like, you know, just smart, classy.
He checked off the boxes.
Yeah, you know, but unfortunately that box is a deal breaker, you know, for me. You know, it's not for all.
Well, and in all honesty, that box is a deal breaker for everyone. We just like to pretend like it's not because...
It's not a deal breaker for a lot of women.
Really? Well, yeah, you guys already have low expectation.
Not
right?
Currently at this table, because I think it is a deal breaker for
but
this table. But some women are just, they don't care as much, or they themselves,
or they're just too brainwashed by
or maybe they
religion.
just never come and they don't know what they're missing.
That's also
their inhibitions.
That's apparently an epidemic.
Girls who haven't come.
That and people walking around barefoot. These are two epidemics.
Mm-hmm. And I think that usually girls that walk around barefoot, it's unfair, but they come really fast. That's what I've heard. Girls who walk around barefoot, fast comers, those ones. No.
Fast comers. Or just comers in general.
So that's
They're just coming and going.
I think that's interesting you bring that up. That I never even thought about that. But yeah, a lot of women probably don't even think about it just because it's like, you know, whether you want to blame it on societal standards or just the fact that they haven't experienced. Because a lot of how many girls do you? I mean, LA's a little different, but how many girls do you think you know that have never had a real orgasm by a man? I'm not saying by themselves, but by a man.
I personally know of 2 that for years did not. And that's just the small circle that I know. So I know there's just,
and that's in LA, and we eat ass here. So
is it only in LA?
No, I mean, well, bigger cities, but I feel like, you know, if you go to like Lansing, Michigan, you're not getting a lot of ass play. Maybe, I don't know. Shout out to Lansing if you're out there and you like
Lansing. Are you listening? Drop a comment below.
Yeah, let us know.
But yeah, no, I mean, like you know, people in a city that's very openly promiscuous. So yeah, it's probably a thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I remember I was shocked at one of the guests that I had on here. I was kind of like talking about how I can have casual sex and she goes, I can't.
Which guest?
This was Miss Lawrence that said that, Sarah Lawrence.
Oh, okay, yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, and so I remember I kept forgetting because I don't have too many female friends. I mean, I don't have too many friends. I have a lot of acquaintances and I have a lot of people I know and maybe people that I would consider a friend, but not that I talk to on a regular basis. So again, that's why this podcast is so fascinating because you forget that, you know, just because someone's a comedian doesn't mean that they're like, again, like
a
they're
degenerate.
Sexual.
Yeah,
like just is sexuality.
Just because someone's an artist doesn't mean they're a freak.
Right. Or
correct.
Right, exactly. And so I remember you telling me about one of your friends too that it was a religion thing. Like it was all about Christ. You know, because she's saving it for marriage.
Sure. Anybody, I think, that grows up, I mean, I grew up Muslim. Anybody that grows up, I think, in a stricter religious household, sex is a sin until you're married. So if you have grown up that way, then that's how you think.
Right.
And just depends, you know, how long that sits in your mind, and it might sit in your mind forever because maybe you believe that. And I respect it if you believe that. That's totally fine. I don't think it's a sin, but people do.
For me, it was a therapist that like basically turned me to that whole life is because I remember I was in therapy and I was like, hey, yeah, you know, like I'm hooking up with this person. I was like, and I know it's wrong. And he looks me dead in the eye and he goes, why is it wrong?
You said, I know it's wrong?
Yeah. And he goes, why is it wrong? And I was like, you know, because the whole, you know, before marriage, he goes, yeah, but biologically, you're supposed to want to have sex. And then as soon as he said that, I was like, wow, like that's so true because like we're supposed
you're
to procreate.
If you crave it, it's natural, right?
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, you grew up a Catholic. I apologize.
No, yeah, I grew up Catholic. But at the same time, like, unfortunately, with all the things that have went down in the Catholic Church recently, it's just all devastating to me. And
no, I give you that look because I crave ice cream and cookies, and I don't think that's natural. I think I should stop. But okay, good.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's
but that's also back to bacteria in your stomach. Yeah.
That's all the bacteria.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Bacteria?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's pretty off limits. Come on, bacteria?
Bacteria?
Well, because we were talking about...
we just had a vegan burger.
Yeah, shout out to Monty's.
It was
to
so
celebrate,
good.
yes, because I'm a born-again vegan. And...
You are?
Yeah.
I quit.
Never.
Okay.
You stay.
Okay.
And no, because you were talking about how, like... So, my one beef with the vegan diet is that in order to be a super healthy vegan...
Your one what?
In order to be a healthy...
She said her one beef with the vegan diet. I don't even think she caught that she said that.
Which is funny because there was a comedian last night saying that you're not allowed to say two birds with one stone anymore.
Why? Is it like against birds?
Yeah, and you're not. Yeah, there's so like.
Oh, fuck.
Anyways, my tempeh with the vegan community, the diet.
So let me tell you about my jackfruit with
my tofurkey. Okay, so I get these like fungus yeasty spots, which I mean, like I used to think they were like sunspots, but honestly, like I know it's a combination of everything. It's like diet, and then Hannah doesn't get those, but
I don't get that. But if I have too much sugar, I'll get a yeast infection. Is that too much information?
No.
Yeah,
No,
sorry. I looked
not
over at you
at
because
all.
men are uncomfortable with female things. So it's
I'm from Vegas. I'm used to just very dirty.
Well, yeast can show up
Yeast
in anywhere
infection.
on your body, whether
I
it's
got it all over my fucking body, damn. Sucks.
But that's one of the things you're talking about. If you crave it, it's got to be good or natural. No,
I mean, not sugar, but yeah, I mean.
You haven't listened to the episode where Alex said it takes him 3 months to quit sugar.
Oh yeah, like I can quit sugar and like I'll relapse for sure every time. I have a crazy sugar addiction.
Okay, so I'm trying it as of Friday the 13th. I was like, I'm gonna do 1 month of no added sugar.
See,
only like I'll eat fruit, but not fruit juice.
But
and
you just
no
ate
added sugar.
you just ate white bread.
But is that too?
That's sugar.
But to your body, there's no
That's sugar.
difference.
I can't.
To your
Ben.
body,
How?
To your body, pasta and bread are sugar.
That's sugar.
It's the same thing.
So I have to. I see.
You remember that? They remember that diet you were on whenever you visited me in Vegas?
Yeah.
You have to eat like that.
See, I thought I could I could at least eat.
Technically, even rice to your body is sugar.
Exactly.
So this is a good way of looking at it.
As of today, September 7th. As of tomorrow, September 18th.
Yeah.
So here's like a way of looking at it. Technically, anything you could eat a plate of is sugar to your body. You can't eat a plate of broccoli. You'll be full halfway through.
Okay,
you can eat
that's a good way to think
You can
about
eat a plate full of bread.
Oh, yeah.
You can't eat a plate full of chicken.
Oh, yeah.
You can't, like, you'll be full.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, if you can eat a plate of it, it's not good for you.
I had, what is that brand called? Is it
Gold.
Daya? Daya,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, my God. Daya, if you're out there. There's a vegan mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah, I have it sitting on top of my
Alfredo
refrigerator
style.
right now.
And I had it at a friend's place, and then I craved it so much the next day I got it.
Because of sugar.
That one packet is 900 calories. I ate the entire thing. In a sitting. So yeah, if you can, okay.
Yeah, I mean that's how I look at it. If your body can take it in mass and craves it, it's sugar.
A bowl of oats like this big this morning. Like it was, it was awful. Maple syrup and cinnamon.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah. But
All right, so we all have a problem.
The beef with the community or the diet, not the community. I mean, I have beef with the community too, but is that it's so expensive to eat.
It is
just broccoli and asparagus and veggies and to prepare it, and then like finding again the best tempeh on the market and just making it all.
Well, and I think that's a huge portion of like that's something that isn't discussed enough in the vegan diet is that a lot of stuff that's really bad for you is technically vegan. Like you can eat,
it's true.
If you eat avocado
Oreos.
toast 6 times a day and a bag of Oreos, you're going to look disgusting, feel disgusting.
That's
like
right.
it's antithetical to the point of eating vegetables is micronutrition. It's not not like if you're only doing it to not harm animals, you're probably still going to look gross and be unhealthy. You got to have your body in mind, right?
Well, some. I mean, that's why you do have a lot of like overweight vegans because some.
Do you trust fat vegans?
Well, think about this though. Some of these vegans who, if they were on the standard American diet, they would still be fat. You know, so they're just like, hey, listen, I don't eat healthy on a standard American diet. I'm doing this for the animals, so why do I need to eat healthy on a vegan diet? You know, because there are people who just don't genuinely care. They wouldn't care either way. So if they're doing it for the animals, why should they all of a sudden eat healthy just because they're vegan?
Omega-3s and protein.
Yeah,
I feel like you can find a way to be unhealthy if you want to.
Yeah, but if you're so this is the thing is you get a lot of macronutrition from not being a vegan on accident. If you're a vegan, you have to go find it. Right? You have to go find complete protein sources. That's the hard part about being plant-based is figuring out how to have a complete diet without meat. You know, like there's a lot of stuff in meat that you don't get. So if you're not active, like if you're not a smart vegan, then you're probably doing your body a disservice too. That's why a lot of people, their bodies shut down because Doritos isn't enough to sustain you just because it's nice to people or because it doesn't kill animals doesn't mean it's a healthy diet.
So Alex, are you currently a vegan or what?
No, I'm a meat eater.
You're a meat eater.
I'm a carnivore, strict. I only eat meat.
Just
if an animal didn't die, I don't eat.
All day long.
Yeah, if you don't squeeze it out of an animal or cut it off of one, I don't eat. No.
Speaking of sad things, so Hannah and I were gonna bring the burgers here, and we were gonna do what is it called? Mukbang.
Mukbang. Do you know about mukbang? I believe it's a South Korean thing. Is that where it started?
Right. So it's where people just watch you eat.
Tagalog as fuck. I think it's Filipino.
I know. That's what I said. I was
She was like,
those my
am I
people?
saying
Mukbang?
it right? I'm like, aren't they your people? Shouldn't you know how to pronounce this?
Well, I'm definitely not Korean, but mukbang it definitely sounds
Say that
Tagalog.
too loud around here, all right?
I know, my new hairdresser.
Having you here, like that's how we get rent so cheap. We tell them that we have Korean shows on the network, and they're like, all right.
But people watch other people eat, and they also watch girls like slam their faces into bread.
Bread face. I love bread face.
Okay, why do you watch?
You know what's funny? It's not sexual for me at all.
How would it be? How?
I know.
Just this.
I know
How would it be sexual?
That's the thing is, I don't think it is, but I think it's. I've been following Breadface for a while because I think it's
Krystle,
fucking great.
I feel like you and I need to do this. Can we just slam our face into
But so
some
hold
bread?
on. Have you followed Breadface for a while?
Would you
I'll
watch
watch.
us?
Yeah. No, you
we're gonna
gotta
do it on
be
my
original.
podcast.
You gotta do fruit.
Bring in the bread, please.
Bring in the bread.
No, so this is where I think it gets
What
weirdly
kind of
sexual.
fruit?
Jackfruit.
Mushy fruit.
Okay.
Only mushy fruit.
Only, yeah. So here's the weird thing about Breadface. I've followed Breadface for a while. The weird thing about Breadface is I think the sexual part for a lot of people is the degradation and the humiliation, but
Of
also
the bread?
of just a girl smushing her face into things.
Okay.
Like it's like you
I feel like the bread's being degraded.
But if you watch her
Perfectly
recently,
good loaf of bread.
if you watch her as of late, she's got a lot of like Instagram stories that are almost like sign up for my Patreon and let's see how weird I get. Like y'all want to see chains? Like that's the vibe I get from Breadface now.
So Breadface is an actual one girl, and then people just like copied her.
Breadface is a person, yeah.
But she started it.
I feel like she.
There's
maybe
a
she
lot
didn't
of people
start it,
doing
but
it.
Breadface is her channel.
She's the popular
That's
one. Okay.
Can I tell you a story that I've heard recently because you said something about degrading?
Yeah.
So I'm notorious for giving my girlfriends tips on blowjobs, and I've heard
Like how you blowjob, like you.
well, and then so my friend was like, yeah, he has a bit about a really amazing blowjob that he had gotten. He said that this lady basically has sex like a porn star. He said that she told him to put her head up against the headboard, and then she was like, now fuck my mouth. I was like, I've never even heard of that. And I've heard of some gnarly things. And that's what the degrading thing reminded me of, was that story. And it's like, so, and then, you know what was great about it though, is that he told me, he was like, you know what, it was a lot of fun, but not something I want often.
See, all of a sudden, putting your face in bread doesn't sound so bad.
But I think it's the same thing because there's a psychological aspect to coming like there's no G spot on your tonsil. So the fact that that's okay for her means that there's something, it's a mental thing, not mental like a problem. I'm not saying in a derogatory way. I'm just saying that like it's programmed in there, right? I mean, it's not something that if it felt good, more people would do it, right?
Well, I think so much of this kind of stuff is, of course, it's psychological. It's whatever your experiences have been, however you've been raised, like there's so much that goes into it. Things that one person likes or finds pleasurable are not
Breadface, bro. Like,
Breadface.
Hey, look, I only come once a month to Breadface. Sorry.
Okay.
Because I'm respectful.
How many times a month do you come? 60.
Back when Breadface used to, before I created the healthy Breadface boundary, it was a lot. It was 2 to 3 a day, just
Wow.
Breadface, and
Just
now
Breadface, huh?
Are there other things that these women are slamming their faces
Well,
into?
ASMR, like, what is that all about? That's just where they talk like this. And then we get into a whole episode where we just whisper like this. Why are we doing that? Because people listen to it and they fall asleep. Have you never heard of it? You've never heard of it?
we do not have good enough microphones to continue doing.
Okay.
People probably didn't hear any of that, but
No, they did.
They did, yeah.
You guys heard it.
So there's supposed to be something
Love
soothing.
it. See, she's getting excited already.
There's supposed to be something soothing
I
to
think
people.
it sounds so creepy. I feel like someone's going to jump out at me.
Yeah, but you know what they say, like, oh, she's laughing at my jokes. She thinks it's sexy. No, just take advantage of her.
Just whispering bread face.
And then you take the
And then you take the bread.
you take the mukbang, and then you do the ASMR, and you go, I'm about to take this burger, and I'm going to stick it all the way deep inside my throat.
Now you just made it raunchy.
Okay, I'm
there was
sorry.
art to it before. So what is mukbang? What does it? What does it mean?
Eat it. It's watching people eat. Okay, and the reason why I brought it up is because she. Go ahead.
I have I hadn't heard of it before, and a friend of mine told me about it, and I told him I think that's so odd. So people just watch people eat, and he was like, "Well, I watch it sometimes when I come home from work, and if I'm just eating and I don't have anyone to
wanna
eat
eat
with,
alone?
I don't want to eat alone, so it feels like I'm eating with someone."
Wow, that's. Then ask someone out.
I know.
Put yourself out there, bro.
I know.
Wow.
But that's got to be a big reason that people are doing it. And see, okay, we're going to take this back to dating if that's okay.
Absolutely.
This is what I think is wrong with the world now. Like, people just don't know how to interact with each other. They don't know how to connect with each other. And so you come home and you just crave some kind of connection. And if it's watching mukbang, it's watching mukbang. But I think that's dating has changed. I was talking to my mom last night about this. And she's like, have you found a man yet? And I said, no, but it's not from lack of trying. And I told her, when Krystle and I would go out, years before Instagram, when Krystle and I would go out, we had a lot of guys, whether we wanted them to or not, just coming up and approaching us. It's very different now when we go out. It's not the same because I feel like guys are One, maybe because of the Me Too movement.
I feel like that gets blamed for it, but I think we're not near as social as we used to be because we get it from. I mean, I think the mass shooter thing comes from the same place. It's that your entire friend base comes from a device, and therefore you don't know what actual emotions. Like you lose that sensitivity for people.
Yeah, you don't know how to connect anymore, and because it's easier to sit at home and swipe.
There should be an app. For people who just want to go eat together. It's just you swipe on people and it's just like
they have Bumble friends.
They have Bumble friends.
Yeah, but if you go on
I've never done that.
But if you go on Bumble, but how many of those guys are like I feel like most of the guys on Bumble friends are just sneaky, like they're just like, yeah, I just want to be your friend.
No, it's for women. Women on women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even still, it feels like Bumble is a place where people I feel like Bumble is already in the mind. It's like a dating. It's a sex. It's like it's already programmed to be a place where you go for something.
Right.
We need a new app.
Well, what was Friendster? Isn't that a thing?
I think Friendster was before Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like it was Zoosk, you know? You remember Zoosk?
No, I was never on that.
Zoosk was, I feel like it wasn't for dating. I feel like it was just to like grade people's looks, like this or that, I think.
Yeah, it's just
it was like a Facebook app.
It's like people just don't know how to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I think there's also the illusion of choice now. Because you're swiping and it seems like there's so many options out there that you don't commit to anything.
Which is funny because nobody ever commits to anything, so there is no choice. Just because a bunch of people also swiped left on you doesn't mean any of them will ever like you, will care about you in any form.
Are you single?
I am not.
What's your deal?
What's my deal? I'm in a relationship. I am.
Listen, Alex.
Here's my deal.
Nowadays, I don't even know what that means because there's so many people in open relationships.
I don't fuck with that. I don't. I keep it old school in that, like, if I'm gonna be
you're
with
in a
one
traditional
person,
relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you meet?
Fucking Tinder machine, dog.
No, seriously.
But so can I tell you something, dog? I'll tell you this. I have been on 2 Tinder dates ever, and one of them was 5 weeks long and ended only because I left the city, and one of them has been a relationship I've been in for 2 years. So
see why he's my co-host?
Oh, okay.
So I've been on 2. This is what I think. I think a lot of people are on Tinder. They're all swipe. They're no type. I think people want to be validated.
You heard it here
They
first.
want to be validated.
The healthy gossip, bitch. All swipe, no type.
They're not like, think about a lot of the.
It's attractive.
If there's a girl with 4 pictures of her ass and only her Snapchat or her Instagram handle in the bio,
she's married.
She's not there.
She's married. She's a housewife.
She's got a sugar daddy, and no, a lot of people on there. I feel like they're just on there to raise their public profile, and this is weird. And I'll tell you why I think this. Because I'll go and I'll, like, if you see a girl on Tinder and you go to her page, a bunch of, like, Morgan J is a great example. I've definitely seen girls' pages, like, I'll see a girl on Tinder and I'll go to her page. I guarantee you, somebody that I follow that follows her might be a guy like Morgan, or, you know, like, just people who are out there, where it's like this girl who's like an actress and lives downtown and probably never even leaves her apartment. You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck would 20 of my friends all follow her? Oh, it's because her ass is out on Tinder. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people are on these platforms just to kind of raise their kind of their status and
presence.
their self-esteem.
Yeah.
And no one on there is like, if you actually want to meet someone on those apps, it's not that hard. You just got to be as picky as you would be anywhere else. I've been on 2 dates and both of them turned into something that was more than just, like, the first Tinder date I ever went on.
The 5-week one?
Yeah, well, and that was because I left Chicago. I lived in Chicago for 5 weeks and I met her the first day I was there because I made a Tinder and I was just like kind of swiping, and I went and we hung out, and granted, I can't chalk this up to being specific, but, you know, you're swiping. I went and hung out with this, like, we talked on the app for a little bit. I felt like I knew some things about her. I knew we had some common ground, and our first date was like probably 52 hours long. Like,
what did you do?
We went and kind of just like got like drinks around like brunch time, like fucking day drinking. Like, we shouldn't have been drinking this early, but
I love it. Cute.
And then we went to dinner, and then weirdly it went back to her place, and then the next morning it was like oh, let's go get breakfast. And then that was like,
I like how it cuts to next morning.
Well, yeah, and then we fucked, dude. No, and then the
Did
next.
you use a condom the first night?
I always use condoms. Thank you. I only use condoms. Thank you.
Even with your girlfriend now?
Yeah. Well, lately we ran out, but I got to make another trip. But no, I only like having sex with condoms. Even with her.
You only like having sex?
I only feel secure. I care more about comedy than how good it feels inside of your body. So I don't want to knock you up. I don't want to get my dick dirty. I like sex without a condom, or with a condom, I mean.
Okay.
But from fucking and going to breakfast, I was brand new to Chicago, and she's like, "Have you ever had Chicago pizza?" I was like, "No." And she's like, "Fucking let's go get some." And that turned into another overnighter, and the next morning I left. And that was my first Tinder date ever. And granted, was it very quick into my tenderness? Yes, but it was also like
My tenderness.
like I looked at her profile and I was like, damn, I like her. Like she's got some decent taste in music. Like I was like, hey, you know, like we ended up going to just like a little dive bar and getting drinks over kind of near her place, near where I was, like kind of halfway between.
You're making me want to sign up for Tinder.
I know, but that was I'm old fashioned. I'm an old fashioned Tinder user. You know,
He's an elder millennial Tinder user.
I'm old fashioned on my
So-
Tinder. But then my second Tinder date was with my girlfriend, who we broke up, and then we recently kind of got back together. We're working it out, and
I like that. I like that you're working it out.
Yeah, I'm trying. You know, we're going to a therapist where it's.
I like that.
It's I mean, if it can work, I'm gonna make it work, and if it can, it can't. And we'll figure it out. So
You sound very healthy.
I'm a little too. That's probably why I'm so bad at comedy. You know, just 'cause I'm too healthy.
I thought you were about to say, I'm a little tipsy.
Oh no, yeah, I'm hammered right now. I'm lying to you. No.
So, do you have a type, Hannah? Okay, are you comfortable saying
What my
your
types
type
are?
is, like physically?
Yeah, I mean, my issue is that the physical type and the personality type doesn't really go well together. Like,
What does
I
that
don't
mean?
find it merging together. So
What is it?
My type is always someone who is funny and intelligent, and so that's what I've always gone for. And they've never been lookers. So that's the other thing with
It's hard being a triple threat. There aren't a lot of us out there. I know.
So then on the apps, my type is like a lumberjack. But the lumberjack
Does that mean
doesn't-
you like white boys?
that's why I want to go to Nashville.
She likes plaid and beards.
I like Hicks.
Oh, okay, nice. Well,
I think I do. I don't really.
yeah, you do until you realize that you're a Muslim woman dating a guy from a small Fayetteville,
who's like a swamp person.
It's like, you're the first one I ever met that I didn't just absolutely despise, and you're like, fucking, I don't want this anymore.
I know it's just a weird fantasy because I think it's such the opposite of who I am. So it's a nice fantasy.
Yeah, it's the Montague to your Capulet.
That's right. But it's hard to, you and I have had this experience where we've gone out and seen a really good looking guy, and then he starts talking, and we're just like, oh, and just walk away.
Or accents? I don't do accents. I
You
mean,
do some accents.
Yeah, but have they lasted? No. So case in point there.
We're the opposite
What accents
with the
did you do?
accents.
One English
British?
accent. Yeah, a guy from
No,
London.
but your favorite.
Here's my favorite.
the Persian guys.
Oh, the Jews, the Persian Jews.
Well, the thing is, the Persians are really attracted to Krystle.
Yeah, and I honestly haven't dated one since the first 5 years that I lived
That's
here.
weird to me because I didn't know that Persian men liked women. I feel like Persian men would like more kind of a little more reserved of a type of woman. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they think I am.
Actually, no, Persian girls are fucking crazy. So yeah, no, you fit right.
I think it depends on the guy, if he's conservative or if he's the one in West Hollywood with the big gold chain and
in the 3 Series he can't even afford, but he's still gonna race it up. No, I'm thinking of the Armenian guys with their flags.
Yeah, don't get them confused.
Yeah.
I
Are we
hate
being
that.
racist? We love everybody.
No, I'm just thinking of here's who I hate. If you put a flag on your car and drive like an asshole down Fairfax,
Regardless of what flag.
whatever
it is.
flag, if it's a truck and it's a Confederate flag, I hate you. if it's a shitty sports
All
car,
flags are
I don't
out.
like flags on cars.
No flags.
Nope. Anyway,
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I just thought that's funny that because you do have a thing for Hicks, so I just think
We
that's funny.
have a
Trays.
we have very.
She has a really funny joke.
that's why
really-
she wants to go to Nashville. Now it makes sense.
It all makes sense, right?
Yeah.
The really interesting thing is I feel like we should just have a camera follow us around when we go out to a bar to see who the guys that hit on us.
Oh, and it's really funny because she always gets the
That's
blue
what I was
collar
gonna say.
guys, and I always get.
We went to this place downtown, and this guy comes up to her and starts talking to her and dancing with her. And he's like a surgeon or something.
He's a doctor. Yeah, I've had a lot of those.
And I get the door guy and the bartender.
No. It was perfect.
But
because,
and it's not a
No.
big deal, but it always happens.
Because the
without
doctor
fail.
walks us to the bar to get a drink, and the bartender literally picks up a bottle, he puts it down, plays spin the bottle, and stops it on henna, which was
God,
like,
that's a good move, though.
oh right,
Now I want to be a bartender.
yeah, and it was just so funny because.
But it's like, you're a man, Alex.
I am a man.
What
I
is
identify as a man.
What is it? Can you identify what it is about us where the doctors are attracted to Krystle?
I think it's just that opposites attract. Like you say that you
That's
like
right.
that you like that.
Wait, what are you trying to say?
What I'm saying is that
what are you trying to say?
what I'm saying is that you've got a shady,
finished college, I'm
you've got a
sorry.
shady corporate life in your past, and she's got
Shady?
and she's and you know, and you work in the service industry. So is it weird
So
to
it's
me?
opposites attract.
It's opposite. I feel like it is opposites attract.
I
You know,
guess it is.
but then again, also.
But Alex, this happens without us opening our mouths.
They want to save a hug.
So you get the
wanna save a
that is kind of weird though. I'm not gonna lie because I feel like you would get like I don't know. I also I barely know you, so I don't know how you act when you're out and about. And I guess I technically don't even know how you act when you're out and about. I've only ever seen you on like comedy shows,
Pretty much like this.
but yeah, I don't know. I can't.
But I think you're right. I think it is the opposite.
Opposites attract. It's the there's some tight fitting jeans.
Well,
you
I'm
know?
also and I think a lot of the times you're right. These guys, if you went to medical school, Jesus Christ, you've clearly been through some shit, and now you want to have a good time. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
I'm a good time, and
Or if you're a bartender, you look at a nice corporate girl and you go, "My fucking ticket out."
I need right, they're like, I need that 401k.
It's like, oh man, you have benefits?
you have an apartment
You don't have a ring on.
and no roommate.
No roommate?
No roommate?
You don't have a roommate?
You live by yourself?
Does your apartment without a roommate have a fridge? Holy shit, girl.
Not a kitchenette. Is this a full kitchen?
You don't have a mini fridge?
Holy shit! Did you just say a bedroom?
Oh yeah, you like him with an accent. Hell, girl, I'm very surprised that, I don't know.
I'm surprised you like a bear slinging boy like myself working here at this here
Bear
bar.
slinging?
Bear slinging.
Beer slinging.
Bear slinging.
Bear slinging. I
Slinging
was like,
bear.
that's a West
Bear.
Hollywood bartender.
Slinging.
Yeah, that's
Slinging them bears.
slinging. That's good.
Slinging bears for bears.
Slinging bears.
I sling bears for bears, baby.
I just want to meet like a fat gay guy who's like, I'm just out here slinging bear, dude. Just letting people know what's up.
Slinging this bear dick.
Anyway, but no, yeah, I think it's opposites attract.
Yeah. I like how Alex is just solving all our puzzles.
So I'm gonna have to get a full blown fucking PhD to get these fucking losers away from everything.
No, if you get the PhD, you'll get the losers attracted.
That's-
You're already getting the doctors. Why do you want the? Oh, you call the doctors the losers. She's like, these fucking losers with their six-figure
With their
incomes.
MDs.
Yeah, what'd you do? Fucking study your
You
whole
don't even,
life?
you're not even an open micer?
Don't you know
Ugh.
what fun is? Fuck.
Have you ever even chased a dream? It's like, I went to college for 10 years to be a doctor. You're like, yeah, but sell out.
Cornell, you fucking loser. How many tears did you have to cry to get into that school, you little bitch?
Hilarious.
Nice.
Wow. Sorry. Yeah, that's what's really sad. It's like, come on. The amount of Ivy League dick that I've got.
That's
You would hope some of that shit would rub off on me, but it doesn't.
that's a feather in your cap, though.
Yeah.
I feel like you put that on your resume.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've fucked a dick once worth 180 million. I'm just kidding. That's stupid. Okay. Anyways, let's
She went to
move on.
million because she realized how unimpressive thousand
I know,
was going to sound.
Well,
Anyway,
it was a million,
boom.
wasn't it, Hannah?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Anyways, so do you prefer dating older or younger?
You know, I don't think I've really dated older so much. I have mostly younger guys approaching me.
There's the answer to the question.
So there's that. But I think I need to date older now because I feel like I can't deal with the younger ones. Just don't have enough going on.
Okay.
So maybe I need to change my parameters on Bumble.
Maybe.
I don't know how old should I go? Like
I think
60?
See,
Jesus.
I don't know. I feel like even just
What are you? What are you, me?
I can ask you guys, what is your age difference, you two?
We're the same age.
You're the same age.
Always.
And you guys met each other when you were at very different times in your lives.
Correct.
And that's why you became friends. So maybe age has less to do with it, and what you're going through has more to do with it. So maybe you meet someone who's like 45 and he also lives in a 1-bedroom apartment with 3 roommates, and you're like, what's up? We're going through the same thing. Or maybe you meet someone who's 25 and you're 45 and you have your shit together, and he also has his shit together. You guys are actually probably more compatible than just looking at age or number. Or
I think age has less to do with it. I think it's most of it is really your personality, and I need somebody who's about what they say they're about. Like, there are too many men out here, and I don't know if it's because they're dealing with 22-year-olds that say shit that they don't mean. Mm-hmm. Like, don't say something if you don't mean it. Mm-hmm. So don't...
Or not even mean, or don't say that you're going to do something and
don't say you're going to do something. Don't put yourself in a position where you're like a lot of men, this is surprising to me, will claim their love, which I always thought is something that girls do. But men will do that, and they'll say, oh, how much they love and care about you. And then it's like, okay, but where's the action?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, are you doing that just to get in my pants? Because that's stupid. To me,
possible.
That's dumb.
I mean, yeah, because then you don't get you catch what you're fishing for. Whatever bait you're throwing out. So if you're the kind of person who wants something short term, and you're like, nah, I just want to be in a, then you're gonna draw people who want to also be in a relationship, and then you're gonna be like, this fucking bitch is clingy. No, you just weren't honest with what you were expecting, right?
Yeah, and for me, that's the biggest thing is just be honest. Like, I don't care. I don't care what you're into. I don't care if you're into weird things or mukbang or bread face planting or like whatever it is. Just be honest about it, because then at least you give the other person the chance to say, you know what, I could stick my face in a loaf of bread for you. Or no, I can't. But if you're not honest, I never know about it. And it's gonna ruin things one way or another.
And we were actually talking about this. I had a boyfriend who was well off, and
I liked him. I remember him.
He did this thing where he would always say, I remember specifically the example was my mom and stepdad needed a printer, and for some reason he just says oh, I'll send them one off of this website that my friend has or whatever. And I got really excited, and I kept telling my mom, hey, he's gonna send you a printer, and he never did it, which is really silly.
I hate that.
Which is so stupid, because it was I think it was something really, it wasn't even expensive, and that's besides the point, because you remember this guy, he spent money.
Yeah.
It's not that he was cheap, but why would you say, and that was only one specific circumstance, and we specifically remember it because my parents were involved. He had definitely done it over other things and situations, but that one stuck out specifically because why do you have to get my parents involved?
It's just integrity. If you're going to say... I'm not asking you for anything. You didn't ask for that. You weren't get my parents a printer. So if you're going to offer something, then do it. Otherwise, just don't say anything. Don't offer it.
Exactly.
But when you don't do that, when there's a disconnect between your words and your actions, I just feel like that's a lack of integrity, and that's just not attractive.
Or it's also an insult to our intelligence. Do you think we're just going to forget that?
Right.
And then not care? Or that it's saying... I can't even think of a great example of how awful that is. It's oh, hey man, when I make it, I'm gonna get you that car that you've always dreamed of. It's almost like you're saying it we think you're so joking, or it's so bizarre.
And the other thing is, I know it's a small thing, but it involved your mom. It's don't also involve other parts of the family into what you're gonna do for them, and then not do it.
That's actually why my worst boyfriend, I always talk about on the podcast, is one of the best. Because they're oh, well, if he sucks so bad, why did you stay with him? Because that was actually one of his good characteristics, is that he always did what he said
What
he
he
was
said,
going to do, you know? And that was why I was like, you know, that's freaking cool, especially coming from a relationship where the guy wouldn't back up what he said he was going to do.
Because it's also trust at the end of the day, right? Then you
Right.
can't trust that person's word anymore.
Exactly. And I do want to say I did finally watch the Bill Burr special.
Did you like it?
I did. So I was on shrooms when I watched it.
Okay.
And I cried
Nice.
like a bitch at the end because the love that he had for that dog and then the love that he had for his daughter
yeah.
at the end literally made me sob because I felt his pain so much. And then the way like and that's why it was so funny, the pain of like him having to give that dog up just because I have dogs.
Oh, see, I haven't listened to the end of his podcast, but I know about his dog or his old bits about his dog. So I didn't know that. I haven't seen the end yet, but
I'm so sorry. Spoiler alert.
But
Yeah.
his special was so good.
did you like Chappelle's special?
I had one issue with it.
What was your
one?
issue with it?
My only
Are you 36? Was that your issue with it?
No, my issue with it was just
That's funny.
the bit about the Michael Jackson and the children that were abused. And to me, it's like, I get it that, you know, maybe you feel like he didn't do it. Whether he did it or not, if there's a possibility that he did, and if there's children potentially involved, to me, that's just off limits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he did this whole thing about like, oh, well, all right, so you got diddled. You got diddled. Well, at least you got diddled by the king of pop.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, Chappelle's hilarious, so he can say anything and it's going to be funny. Like, I still laughed, but I was like, come on, man. That was my only issue with it.
I think he was also trying to speak truth to power. I mean, I think he was. I don't know. I get where he's coming from. The reason I love that joke is because I'm from Vegas and I know a lot of girls who you don't know how the fuck they're always on a boat in Mykonos, but they always are. Mm-hmm. How is this girl who serves drinks at the Luxor being flown out to Mykonos twice a year?
You know how.
Well, ain't nobody. Yeah, there's no such thing as a free trip to Hawaii. That's why I love that joke, because that line is, these kids got to learn there's no such thing as a free trip to Hawaii. I love that part of the joke because I feel like that's something that a lot of young kids, and not kids who are molested
right.
at
I was
that
going
age.
to say, you don't really mean.
But also, I mean, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't have a problem with that joke.
Yeah,
just
that was my only issue with it. But he did say something that I thought was actually really. I had a friend who thought that it was, his whole thing was very misogynistic, and I didn't think that. I actually thought there was a part that was very interesting that I hadn't thought of. He does that part where he talks about abortion, and he's like, you know, if the woman, you have every right to abort that child. Mm-hmm. If the father of the child doesn't want the baby,
Yeah.
he has every right
if you
to
can
not
kill
pay
it, then I
child
don't have
support.
to call it. Yeah,
And, you know, I never thought about it that way, but I'm like, yeah, he has a point. I mean, there are two people involved. And if the guy didn't want the baby and you do, I mean,
Take care of it.
yeah.
that's funny. Like, that's something that's, you know, I've heard that a lot from other, like, my parents got divorced when I was a year and a half old. I've listened to my dad bitch about child support my whole life just because it's affected him. So I've heard thoughts like that, and I like, it's, you know, it's it's nice that someone will come out and say that, you know, I mean, because
No, I think it's a valid point because there's two people involved in making that life. Yeah.
but yeah. Well, what'd you think of Chappelle?
Well, and for me, I'm someone who I don't think really much is off limits, and I'm one of those people that's so I was shaking my boots, just worried that I'm going to say something that's going to piss someone off, or like I have a really bad habit.
Do you worry about that?
Yes, because I've done it before, like especially early on. Like this is when I was in Texas doing comedy. I had said a couple of offensive things that they're so offensive I can't even say what they are because it might offend somebody. And I do like things to be like fair game, like when it comes to talking about whatever you want to talk about, because the whole idea is like you don't have to listen. And I get that, like, you know, he has a platform and that he's gonna, millions and millions of people are gonna listen to what he has to say. So it, you know, you kind of have to take that into consideration.
Right.
But It's the same thing as like when they got mad at Miley for not being like Hannah Montana anymore. Like it's art. Like you don't have to watch Miley anymore, even though she affects me. Like, oh, your fans, now these little girls are all going to want tattoos and to, I don't know, fuck fruit, whatever she does.
And what's so funny is if only those people that complained about that before when Hannah Montana was around, if only they could have seen Ariana Grande come, and they would have been just so or just where culture is.
There's also it's a constant change of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable anymore. I mean, I was asking you earlier, like, what's the deal with white people doing this? It is acceptable to make fun of white people. That's what's acceptable right now.
Yeah.
That could change at some point. And those things happen all the time. It's like all the Kevin Hart stuff that happened. And it was like, well, people change. He's like, well, I'm not the person that I used to be. So stop vilifying me for things that were said or that, so I think we have to give people room to evolve as humans.
And also, a lot of the time, jokes are only to get a rise out of people. The jokes that got Kevin Hart in trouble were only to get a rise out of people. So by freaking the fuck out about it, he wins.
Right.
You're the butt of the joke now. You're the loser. You know, one thing we were talking about cancel culture a lot on the other podcast this morning. Did you guys hear about Shane Gillis and what's going on with SNL?
No.
So SNL picked up 3 new cast members, and one of them was this guy Shane Gillis, who's associated with the Legion of Skanks guys. Who Legion of Skanks call themselves the darkest, dirtiest, like that. Nothing is off limits. They want to be the most obscene podcast, and they do a pretty damn good job of it. And also, they sell out everywhere they go. Their fans are. It's not hard to there's a market for it, and we see that. I hosted a show in the Belly Room right before their live podcast up there, and when I was walking out, security was having to quiet down their fans who were lined up for the Belly Room because they could hear them in the OR. Like, there is a market for that just because it's not what you want. So Shane Gillis, one of their guys, he was one of the 3 new SNL cast members. They went and they found something that he had said in a podcast. He used the term chink, but he was doing it in they were talking about Chinatown, and the guy was almost saying it from the perspective of like an old New Yorker as they're building Chinatown, where it's like, but we'll put all the chinks in this part of town. And he wasn't saying it hatefully, but that's, but obviously all the clips that you can find are out of context, and he already got the boot from SNL, which is kind of funny because is SNL doing no due diligence? All you have to do is one Google search of this guy, and you're going to find clips like that. Yeah. So, I mean, I think a big, and where I was going to go with it, what I mentioned this morning with the whole cancel culture, and Bill Burr's a prime example. There's a really great old quote that says, if you get offended, if you laugh at a Mexican joke and a retard joke, but you get offended by a Chinese joke because you're Chinese, well, then you're the problem. Yeah. You are the problem. Exactly. Because you will laugh at other people's shit, but you will get offended by yours. So you are, essentially, if you get offended, but you laugh at, if you'll laugh at white men so openly, but you'll get offended at whatever, well, then you're just showing me your cards. True. You're showing me and that's okay. Well, it's okay to pick on white guys now, and it's about damn time. There's
a large gray area there just due to the fact that, for example, we were talking about the children being off limits. Okay, well, I could easily say, oh, well, just don't watch it. It's like not letting your children watch rated R movies, right? Because I remember specifically there was a guy at the open mic that I host that said chink. And I remember
that.
Yeah, I said, hey, man, you can't say that, because he's a white guy in the audience calling one of my
Oh, he wasn't a comic?
He is, but he called
he said it from the chair, not from the stage?
Yeah, because I guess he said it from the chair, and he said some guy, it was an Asian comic. He goes, hey, man, you look like you still call Asian people Oriental. He goes, no, I don't. I call them chinks.
Well, yeah. I'm a firm believer that if you gonna do crowd work and you gonna get outdone, you gonna get outdone. So that's on the Comic-Con. I love crowd work at open mics because you learn very quickly who doesn't have the chops, and you see it fall apart. I don't have a problem with that at all. Just because, he was trying to make that guy seem racist by saying, "Oh, you still call them Orientals," and that guy's like, "Oh, I'll take that. I'll take that, and I'll raise you one." Yeah. And I obviously, I told him, hey, man, you can't say that, because it's just if it was a black guy and he called him the N-word, it would be, it's harsh.
So much of this is about context.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one reason I really liked the Bill Burr special. He kind of addressed it in it, where he's talking about
things
something.
Don't happen in a vacuum.
Right, and the guy yelled out, ask for consent. And Bill Burr was like, that's not what I was talking about at all. And you just twisted it into something else.
And that's buzzword culture. Nowadays, we have a lot of people who read headlines, but they don't read articles. And a couple words will get people's attention. So Bill Burr starts talking about something, and all this guy knows about that whole conversation is ask for consent because he's never read anything. Right. So it just shows, people show their hands. I had someone come up to me at Bert's the other day because I've never really done racial material, but lately I've been writing some just because it's the last thing I haven't talked about being a white man at all, but fuck it, I guess I will now. And so I have some just kind of like, if you wait for the end, you're going to laugh, but in the middle there's tension there, and I do that on purpose because I'm a fucking good comedian. But so like I'll let the tension kind of sit a little, and then I'll flip it on. I do what jokes are supposed to do. And this girl comes up to me and she goes, this white girl, she goes, I can't, like, how do you, I want to talk about it, and I'm at some point the only way you get there is by actually not caring, by saying, okay, I'm just know in your heart who you are, and then go and do your best to represent yourself. And there's a lot of stuff that we're not supposed to talk about, and I think that is when you. I mean, that's the Marxism playbook. That's how Marxists originally started to advance in power. Is they would do things like the left do and say, you can't tell me about it because you've never experienced it, so your opinion doesn't matter. Yeah. Everyone who's allowed to vote in this country, their opinion matters. And that's unfortunately where we sit. So whether you like it or not, I mean, it's I'm too stoned. I can't tie this up full circle. Damn it. But anyway, it's yeah.
I think if you're looking to get offended, you will find something.
You'll always find something.
Right.
And I think it's important to see that in people and just know, and I met someone down in your neck of the woods. I don't recall his name, but he was running a show in Orange County when I was down there. I popped on. He was a really cool dude. And he was saying that he'd had a run-in with a lady at a show, and she got upset. It was probably mass shooting or gun control, something like that. And she got upset. She started harassing him on Facebook. Where he fucked up is he started getting nasty and roasting her on Facebook. And next thing you know, it gets screenshot and it gets sent to places he's already booked, and he gets in trouble. Geez. And that happens. That unfortunately really happens.
Cancel culture.
It only happens if you give them a platform to, if he wouldn't have went after her on Facebook, if he would have just went, fuck off, don't buy tickets then, nothing would have happened to him. So I think it's a good lesson too, is that you learn, if you just because someone's an asshole to you online first doesn't mean you can go and be an asshole back.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, this always happens when I have my good friends on the podcast. We run out of time, and we have so much more to talk about. So I'll have to have you back very soon. I had a great time.
Me too.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Do you have any shows or things coming up that you want people to show up to? What's your Instagram? Where can people find you? What's your website?
My Instagram is Hina X Conn, HINA, the letter X. KHAN, like Genghis.
Boom.
And you will see me on Creep Show, which is coming out at the end of this month. And then on Stargirl next year. And hopefully more to come.
Fuck yeah. Congratulations.
Yes,
thank you.
Congratulations. Alex, do you have anything you need to plug?
No, I'll be in Orange County next week. I know you might have some listeners from there. If you think that if you want to come and try to cancel me, I'm doing 3 spots in Orange County, the 25th and 26th. You can hit me up on Instagram, call me a piece of shit, and I'll still give you the location.
What's your Instagram?
Conn.tv, and that's CONN, not like Genghis, more like the bastardized Irish version.
Cool. And I will tag you guys both in the bio because sometimes I forget to do that for you. But thank you so much, guys. Thanks for listening. Leave nice comments, give us a thumbs up, follow Comedy Pop Up. We will see you on the next one.